Hey, this is John Malkin from the Simple Radicals out of Chicago, Illinois, and you are listening to the Brutally Delicious podcast.
Brutally Delicious!
Hey, welcome to the Brutally Delicious podcast. I'm Bruce.
My name is Chris.
Jesus Christ. Today we're going to be speaking with Simple Radicals.
Wow, isn't that an interesting name? Because radical is far from simple.
Wow, what do they call that? Like a conundrum?
I don't know.
I'm a student here. I don't know either, but you're like Mr. Google. You can probably Google it.
You're a philosopher, so why don't you ponder?
Dude, you have
on
no
the
idea
meaning.
how I am so bombarded and I'm not complaining because that's what I signed up for, but it's way deep. And I think as you get older, it's harder to retain info.
Oh, yeah.
I'm I'm doing all right, but I'm struggling like crazy.
Yeah, you're
all these
trying to figure out the world religions and what they mean and where they came from. And
oh, yeah. So we've already gone through like Zoroastrianism and Hinduism, and now we're in Buddhism.
Oh, yeah. You know what my favorite religion is? Beerism.
What?
Yeah.
Beerism.
Beerism. I find it.
What kind of church do you go to for that, or temple?
I go to the Church of the Pint.
You're stupid. All right. So
sorry
while
if I'm offending any religious people out there.
Whatever. I mean, I think what I'm learning from this course is that everybody's entitled to their own sort of thing, right?
Yeah. Like the Pastafarians.
The Pastafarian. Is that the spaghetti monster?
That's the spaghetti monster.
Yes. I mean, that's a pretty interesting religion as well.
Yeah. You want to hear a funny story? So,
I do.
My dog has Cushing's disease, which means his adrenal glands put out too much adrenaline.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes he's really fucking hungry and sometimes he's not hungry. But he didn't eat for about 2 days, so I was like, okay, I got to give him something to make him want to eat. Because if we're out on a walk and he finds a rotten piece of meat, he's all over it. So it's not that he's not hungry. It's just that he's, So I decided to start transferring him over to ground beef from fish.
Mm-hmm. Is that what you feed him, fish every day?
I have to, yeah. He can't eat kibble. It's really sad. So
interesting.
Every day not every day, but every 3 days I make him rice, vegetables, and fish. So recently I put him on ground beef, and he went fucking nuts. And he eats it so fast that he throws up because he doesn't eat, and then he just everything as fast as he can. Yesterday, yeah. Yesterday, I put it in his bowl, and he just went crazy. He's just and eats it, and then he just pukes it back in his bowl. And I was like, oh no! So I run over to pull the food, and by the time I got there, he had ate it all again.
Yeah, I don't know why dogs do that. That's disgusting.
It's fucking disgusting. And I was like, Jesus, come on,
Chris.
Hey, there's a tennis ball.
What?
John,
what the hell are you talking about?
John Malkin has a tennis ball as his profile picture.
I don't see it, but
I think it was by default. I think I didn't pick one, so they gave me a tennis ball.
Well, you're going to understand why later in the show. Why I think this is funny.
Now you forced me to ask that question.
It's so rock and roll, man.
John, that's my partner, Chris.
Hey,
how you doing?
How are you, buddy?
Good, man. How are you?
Man? Great.
Hey, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
So, I guess the best way to do this, and if you could describe the Simple Radicals and give me your 2-sentence boardroom pitch.
How do we categorize our band? Is that basically?
Yeah, I mean, I know it's rock and bluesy, but give me the 2-sentence boardroom pitch.
All right, boardroom pitch. Jeez, I haven't done this in ages. So, all right, so from a Simple Radicals, from a musical and stylistic standpoint, we'd have to classify ourselves as retro rock and roll, which you don't hear a lot today because a lot of bands coming out tend to be a little more heavier metal, a little heavier rock and all that. Our influences are really in the the classic rock sound, the Pink Floyd, Pearl Jam, Foo Fighters, Cheap Trick, what we grew up with and we listened to. So we kind of combined all those sounds and influences into this kind of this retro rock sound, which when you listen to the album, it's a little bit different than what you normally hear today coming out from a music standpoint. It's, it's kind of takes you back to like kind of the 70s, 80s sound.
Right.
And from a lyrical standpoint, I'm just infatuated with the Eddie Vedders, the Dave Grohls, the Zach from oh my God, I'm having a time from Rage Against the Machine.
Okay.
And just so we've kind of taken this retro sound and kind of this album project we worked on, this New Revolution, is kind of I don't want to say socially conscious. That sounds just awful, but it just was trying to capture, which is a lot of the shit that was just going on around the world today, and just a lot of what people are saying and thinking and feeling and all that. And we want to try and capture that in our lyrics and combine the two. And hence, that's the longest elevator pitch, and hopefully it's a tall building, but. We're on the 71st floor right now, and I know you guys wanted to get off at the 50th floor, but
all good.
So that's kind of where we kind of stack ourselves together, and it's been interesting because we've been getting a lot of play. I mean, a lot of people we've been talking to, a lot of interviews we're doing, and a lot of the stations that are picking us up. They're like, this is interesting. This is very fresh and different. What is this? I'm like, well, it's kind of classic rock. I'm like, yeah, but it's not. You're not classic because you guys have been around that long. But it's just classic rock sound. So it's a little funkier.
Nice.
How's that pitch?
That's beautiful. When you guys are writing, and I know you say you're writing about current events and that stuff, are you worried about it being controversial at all, or is that sort of the point to push the?
Well, so for example, I wrote all the songs, so I didn't write it to be controversial. I wrote it kind of from the heart. A lot of things that I've been thinking about, and like, for example, the song New Revolution, that is the title track to our album. It's really about, about starting a new revolution. It's not about revolution like putting on yellow vests like they're doing in France and they're around and burning down, shops. But it's really it's a revolution about it's a new revolution about how people are really reacting, and they're being very vocal, and it's just getting out there and getting heard and trying to change things. And the video that we launched, that Factory Underground, the studio that we work with that put together this video, the interpretation that they came up with and we kind of talked about was, if you look at the video, it's very progressive, and it's a lot of people marching against the police, and there is some things that are burning, but not like throwing Molotov cocktails at it. So it's very socially conscious, and people might look at it and go very socialist and very progressive. And so we put that out there, and in 2 weeks it had like almost 15,000 views. It just like shot up.
Wow!
And some of the comments were like, okay, yeah, we know where you guys are going. You could tell some people were kind of MAGA, and so there was some conversation. And then they were going like, oh, well, we know these comments are coming down. And then like a week would go by and they're like, well, God, they didn't take down our comments. That's kind of cool. So, so we're leaving them up there. And it's like, yeah, it's like we didn't create it to be controversial, but we're not like discounting the fact that it's creating a dialogue, and people want to use that to talk about shit and, and generate some thought and some conversation. We're all over it. So, yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Chris?
So are you guys like really political, or it's just like how the country's being affected right now?
I think that's it. I mean, we're very apolitical. I mean, I'm a diehard independent, and John, my fellow radical, I think he's fairly independent, maybe skews a little bit more to the left and all that, so at least socially and all that. I'm kind of like I'm socially conservative or socially liberal, socially moderate and fiscally conservative, but we're not, this isn't a political statement, this album and all that. But I think because of all what's going on today in society and in the world, is that I talk about this in a few other, interviews and all that I've given over the last couple of weeks. is that nowadays it's like when you launch an album or launch a song, people actually want to listen to the lyrics, which is crazy, right? It's like before,
Right.
it's like the old, like the Strokes, they come out and like he's like, what is this guy singing? I hear voices, but it's drowned out. But now you're like, oh, what is this guy really saying? And so we want to make sure that the lyrics are punching through, and the lyrics are, when you start singing or talking about issues that are going on today or stuff that's coming from your heart, about forming a new revolution. And medicate about the overindulgence of medication in our society, which is, reflective of the opioid crisis and all that. Each of these songs has kind of like some meaning behind it. People start going like, "Oh, I know what you're saying. Yeah, I get it. I'm with you." It's like, "Oh, that's great," because that's what I was thinking about. But so I think there's so much going on, and like the song "The Optimist," which is a song that I wrote about. It's like, even though there's all this stuff that's going on in the world today, just trying to still remain optimistic. It's like, I'd like to still live like a king, and I still want to change things and all that. And I have my whole life to do it. I have, I got my whole life to try and make this, be optimistic about it. So, it's just, maybe it's kind of sappy and corny, but it's what I was feeling that day when I wrote it.
Yeah.
That's
if you go back, 1,000 years to today,
Right.
You're going to see a constant uptick in the standard of living,
Right.
It's still getting better regardless of what you see, in my opinion.
I agree. Oh, no doubt. Yeah. I mean, you're right. I mean, and you're absolutely right. I'm trying to capture all that because there's a lot to unpack in that, but you're absolutely right, because the world compared to X number of years ago, like even, our parents' generation, our parents' generation, there's no doubt that we are more privileged than we've ever been. We certainly don't have the same kind of struggles going through the depression and those world wars and all that. And, and the market crashes and all that, although we certainly have our share, but it's so magnified now that when, especially with the advent of the internet, is that,
oh yeah.
It's like local stories become national news, and you just have to really kind of take a deep breath and go like, you could read the internet for a day and just think like the world, it's over, and then you look, you shut it off. You look outside like, oh, it's not so bad. I see a deer running across my yard. That's pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Shit, it's actually sunny out. What's going on?
I think the internet's really polarized people, like I'm kind of new to living in the USA. I've been here for about a year and a half, just over.
Where you from?
Canada.
Oh, no way. My wife's half Canadian. Where about?
I'm from Vancouver.
Okay, yeah, she's from the up in Guelph, up in Ontario, up there. Yeah.
Yeah, but so like when I moved down here, I just couldn't believe how polarized everyone was.
Oh man.
And ideas that were deemed like really radical are pretty much normal all over the world. So, but I had to learn to adapt to the culture. But then, when I go back to Canada, I just didn't see how polarized Canada was because I was just there, and I just, it was just everyday life. I didn't think about it. But when I went back in July, I was like, Jesus, man, these people are just as polarized, except they're fighting over things, a lot of times. Why can't people just be fucking cool to each other?
I 100% agree.
You know what I mean?
Like, you're absolutely right. It's like, as I was talking with a buddy of mine the other day about this, and it's like now where everyone's on a team, right? It's like, I'm a Chicagoan, so I'm a Cubs guy, right? And no matter how bad the Cubs are, I'm a Cubs fan,
Yeah.
They could suck. They can make the worst decision, and they have for centuries, right?
I sense no bitterness here.
I cried when we won the World Series. I did. I teared and all that. But I mean, it's like all those years just growing up as a Cubs fan. It's like, but I'm still a Cubs fan, and some people are just a Yankees fan. I don't get, they scream at them, they throw shit at the television. God damn it, I'm a Yankees fan and all that. And it's like today, it doesn't matter how bad decisions are made or how bad things are, like with politicians and all that. I'm still a Republican, and God damn it, that's my team. And that's my freaking team. I'm a Democrat. I don't give a shit. It's my team. So we're like on two teams.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what happens. It's like, I want my team to win. I mean, it's all about winning. It's
but that really just pushes people so far apart,
Oh my God. I know. Well, I respect the Chicago White Sox fans. So,
I just don't like the team, but their fans are fine.
I just don't like the team. That's right. That's right. I'll go to the game. I will go to the game, but I won't eat their food.
Yeah.
But you could still sit down and have a beer with a Yankees.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you could put aside your differences and still have a beer. I don't understand why everybody else can't do that.
I know. It's
If
crazy.
baseball was like politics right now, you and Bruce couldn't talk because he's a Yankees fan.
All right. Well,
I'm
you
actually
guys
a Mets fan, but that's beside.
Sorry. See, now I really pissed him off.
Yeah, so we've gone through this. We've gone through the same dismal years as
I personally think life should be more like hockey. I do.
You're Canadian. That makes sense.
So you get on the ice, you beat the fucking shit out of each other, and when the game's over, you shake hands. Good game, and then you go drink beers with them afterwards.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
You're like, dude, that was one hell of a punch you threw in my eye. I know, right?
That's right. And then you might be playing on the same team one day.
Yeah,
you might
exactly.
Get no, that's right. You're spot on. Too funny.
So I know we came here to talk about the simple radicals, and we're always down a rabbit hole. I apologize, but
that's all right.
So now that your record's out, are you guys planning on taking this on the road, or is it too early, or what's the plan?
Yeah, so the album launched, I guess, in June. And we hit the road and started playing some fests and some gigs in the Midwest. And then it was great. We got in. This thing started getting some traction, and it started getting. We came out. Our first track was a track called "Medicate," and we collaborated with Vernon Reid from Living Colour, who plays
wow,
lead guitar.
pretty sweet.
So if you listen to that track, that is Vernon Reid shredding the shit out of that song. You can tell it's Vernon Reid when he plays it. And so we got invited. So that just all of a sudden kind of put us on this different level. Like, we started getting a lot of attention paid to us. And we got invited to play a fest with Stone Temple Pilots and Blue Oyster Cult. And we couldn't fit it into our calendar. We were so freaking pissed off.
Oh, man.
Oh, I know. Oh, my God. And so, but, hopefully next year we'll play some of those fests with some of those bands. But we just played a private gig this past weekend up in Long Island, up in New York. And then we're going to close out the year in December with a phenomenal gig at the Cutting Room on December 14th in New York City.
Oh, nice!
Which is our first gig out on the in the true New York City. So, and then we're actually starting to plan out our 2020 schedule right now. So, the plan is to play out as much as we can, but be a lot smarter about it, because what we don't want to do is we want to support this. We want to support this album, and we want to really play where we can, we can really have an impact and, play in front of a fair amount of people. And, and so we're thinking a little bit more strategically about it. And we're doing a lot more engagement with our fans and building up our fan base through social media. And we just launched a podcast that is going to go national on Rock Rage Radio, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, called Bands We Want to Open For.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. So we should have you guys on our podcast.
Man.
Absolutely. So yesterday we just interviewed Dax Nielsen, the drummer from Cheap Trick.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, and we're going to have Vernon Reid on, and we interviewed a few weeks ago Eric Sherman, who managed Steven Tyler from Aerosmith. And next week we're interviewing Jackie the Joke Man Martling.
Oh, really?
Howard Stern's sidekick. Yeah, next Thursday. So that'll be out. Yeah.
Nice.
So we're getting some cool guests.
That's pretty sweet.
It's fun. Yeah. We're trying to mix it up. We're trying to, it's, as you guys know, it's so freaking hard to break into this, and break through, when you got 30,000 songs coming out a day on Spotify. So really trying to think, how do you really think out of the box, and yes, your music can't suck. So you have to come out with an album that's good. And we think we have a good album. We like the album. We like our song. We're starting to write some more material right now. But then we're really thinking about how to strategically and tackle social media. And so, how to engage our fans and grow our fan base, the podcast and things like just lots of different ways of just think out of the box and just try and break through.
It's tough, but nowadays there's no big record companies, no big budgets. So it's definitely, we're in the same boat trying to do it all yourself.
Yeah. Are you guys musicians too? You guys play?
I do.
I'm a hack. Chris plays.
Nice.
I do.
Nice. So you're in a band and all that? You go out and play out?
I used to quite a bit. Now
cool.
I just sit in my studio and write all the time.
It's fun, right?
That's why I do it. I did the whole band thing for a really long time.
Right.
And then I went through the ups and downs of like, oh, we're almost there. There's a deal here. There's a deal there, whatever. And then I quit, and I didn't do it for about, I don't know, 8 years, 9 years. And this year, because I'm an audio engineer, that's what I do for a living.
Cool.
So I have this great sounding room, and I just said, fuck it. I'm going to upgrade all my guitars and start writing again. So that's what I did. And I just finished my first song, and I'm happy about it.
Good for you, man.
Whether it sees the light of day or not, I don't know. It's just fun to write.
I love it. It is fun. I just, and this was like, so my fellow radical, John Griffin, we played in many bands, over the years, and then reconnected about a year ago. And I wrote all these tracks, and I had just so much fun writing, because I've written a lot of really bad shit over the years. And then, I'll be real candid. It's just, it's just like, okay, that sucks, and for some reason, I don't know, I started working on this project, and you could probably relate to this when you were, Chris, but I started writing in like pictures. It's really weird. I would start, riffing on the guitar and coming up with some just different kind of licks and chord progressions and all that, and working on it. And then like pictures started coming into my head, like about these, like these sounds started generating certain ideas about what the song potentially means and all that, and it started kind of creating this concept. And then the hard part is trying to take that picture and put it on paper. Like, okay, now I got to put words to it, but it just, this whole kind of concept of this whole New Revolution concept just really kind of morphed really quickly for me. I don't know what happened. I hope I can, regenerate that again, but it's really rewarding, all right? I mean, just, when you get it all done, and then finally you get it on, you lay down the tracks and put some vocals behind it, it's like, that's not bad.
Oh yeah, I think the best thing for me is not what other people think of the music, but do I enjoy listening to it when it's done?
Exactly.
And that feeling like when you first get your mix done and put it in your car and you crank it up and you're rocking out.
That's right.
I love that feeling, man.
It's fantastic. Yeah. We had a validation. We played this. We played a couple gigs in Michigan in Battle Creek at the Diesel, where Kid Rock and all those guys have played, and then a place in Detroit. And this band that went on right before us was really heavy metal. I mean, they were really good. I can't remember their name. I think they were a local Detroit band. I mean, just tight as shit, and just loud, freaking I mean, just cranking those the E, A, and B chord string, just heavy metal, all that, and and John and I are looking at each other, and we were their bass player and drummer. I'm just like, oh fuck, I mean, because the crowd was just like, they were into it. I'm like, we're not metal, but like, here we are. It's all that. And he's like, let's just play our song. And so we get up there, and we thought, they probably thought we were a metal band, and it's like, and then we started playing. We kicked off our first track and all that, and played the whole album. And then it was really wild to watch, and we were standing up on stage, and then people just started kind of coming out, milling out, and then they're all coming, standing and looking at us and kind of rocking all that. But then the lead singer of the band that opened, that played just before us, came out and was standing in the middle of the room with his arms crossed, just staring at us, kind of nodding his head, and I'm looking at him, and I'm just like, okay, that's cool. He likes it, all that. And then we stopped, and people are like, wow, we really like your music, all that. The next day I get a Facebook messenger from this guy. It's like, dudes, you guys totally brought it. I'm like, okay.
Nice.
We made it.
In Vancouver, we used to call that the heavy metal sandwich. So like,
shit.
Yeah. So
Right.
you a heavy metal band opens, then a rock band gets put in the middle, and a heavy metal band closes.
That's exactly what happened.
Oh, that's a thing, huh?
It's a heavy metal sandwich.
I love that. I'm going to use that. Yeah, we got a heavy metal
That's
sandwich,
nice.
man. I thought we were going to get Spinal Tapped out, but they actually dug the music. So
And the crowd was okay?
Yeah, they loved it. Yeah, they were totally into it. Because we do some ballads. We have a song called "Learn" and a song called "Talk," and they really kind of like "Learn" is very kind of this Pink Floydian kind of comfortably numb, kind of the same E minor G D A progression. That kind of the Alive, kind of chord progression, the Pearl Jam.
Right.
And but it's a song that I wrote about, if I go back and read a story to my kids when they were young, and like what life's all about, and how you have to teach them about, you want to teach them about love and and all the great things in life, but you also have to teach them about, they need to understand the opposite. They need to understand hate, and they need to understand the opposite of everything that's good, because there's that shit going on in our world, and they just need to digest it and know what it means, because they're going to face it. And so it's about, learning what life is and all that. And it's a ballad. And John just gives this blistering, David Gilmour-ish, kind of works his way from the top to, bottom to the top of the fretboard. And it's a ballad, but people were like, they were totally into it. And that's just, to me, that kind of validation, like if you can just, if you can get in front of a crowd, rock it hard, turn to 11 and then turn it down to 4. And sing a ballad that that's just, you hope they get, and they're just kind of looking at you, and they're just kind of rocking. You're like, just nodding their heads. You're like, that's right. That's pretty freaking good,
Oh yeah, absolutely,
great feeling. Yeah, love that.
Sweet, Chris. You got anything else before I?
Go ahead, man.
All right, so John, we always ask or close this out by asking some ridiculous questions. Kind of gives fans to get a chance to get to know you. But since you have the tennis ball, and Chris mentioned it already, if you're game, why do you think tennis balls are fuzzy?
Why are tennis balls fuzzy?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god! I think, oh shit, man. Yeah, so many people have asked me that question over the years, and I've never come up with a good answer.
Right.
Why are tennis balls fuzzy? I think probably because the guy who invented it was pretty proud of his package. That he's like, if I'm coming up with balls, man, I'm going to put some hair on them and fuck anyone who thinks differently.
Nice. That works for me.
Nothing worse than a flat ball,
I 100% agree. Unless you're into that whole manscaping thing.
That's what she said.
Indeed.
Chris is always trying to get that she said in there. So. No, nothing wrong with that.
There's 2 things that will always be awesome. Bacon and the saying, that's what she said.
Nice. You nailed it, man.
All right, John, so you're stranded on it.
Sorry to any vegetarians out there.
No.
Jesus. We need it. All the vegans. So you're stranded on a deserted island, John, and you have a remote CD player, turntable, whatever you got. What 3 records are you going to take for the rest of your life or eternity or whatever it ends up being?
Oh, Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, Cheap Trick's In Color and Black and White, and Collective Soul, Dosage.
Interesting.
Yeah. Very different
albums. Yeah, that's a very interesting...
Was Dosage their second album?
I think it was, yeah. It's one of my all-time favorite albums. I mean, I probably should... I mean, if you gave me a 4th album, I should probably throw... I probably got to throw in Zeppelin 1 or Zeppelin 4 in there, but I just burned the shit out of those albums.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, Dosage is their 4th record.
It's their 4th record. Yeah, you're right. That is one of their later albums. God,
released in 99.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I've got. Chris, you got anything else?
I don't.
This is John Malkin with the Simple Radicals, and this is the title track off our album New Revolution. It's called New Revolution. I hope you like it.
start a new revolution, cause the leaders can't find the solutions, and we got nothing left to hide. Gonna use the power of persuasion, gonna take it all across the nation. Don't need no bombs or bullets by our side. Yeah, we're gonna fly. We're gonna touch the sky. So let's you and I start a new revolution. Can you feel the heat of the moment? Can you hear the roar of the crowd? Now's the time we all have to take command. Nothing is ever gonna stop us. Nothing's gonna get in our way. Now's the time we finally gonna take a stand. Yeah, we're gonna fly. We're gonna touch the sky. So let's you and I start a new revolution.
Right on, man. Thank you for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Totally, guys. Thank you for taking the time to chat with me. I love it.
Good
All
luck
right.
with the record. And we'll talk to you soon, brother.
Sounds good, man. Talk soon.
Be well.
Peace.
Right on.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye. Well, cool. Thanks for listening. I appreciate you taking the time. Go ahead and check out Simple Radicals. And Christian, anything else?
I don't, man. I hope everyone has a fantastic fucking day.
Right on. And keep it metal.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Right. Actually, I'm going to go crack one right now. I'm off tonight.
I can't. I got to wait for the wife to get home. It's a
Oh,
rule.
you guys have a rule?
Well,
Is it really?
It's my rule.
Oh, okay.
We had the in-laws.
So Denise, Denise doesn't drink at all.
Oh, really?
Not at all.
I wish I had that problem.
And no religious reason or any reason. She just
Doesn't like it.
every once in a while she'll have a fruity fruit drink, but most of the time she's not drinking anything at all. So it's great because I've always got a built-in driver.
That's awesome. I don't have that. No, this weekend we had the in-laws down and we put up all new lights in the house and fixed up all our railings and painted them and stuff. We started drinking at like 1 p.m. every day. So then her parents left on yesterday. So then I'm going through detox, So I got to wait till 6.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm off tonight. It's one of those rare nights to have no school and no work. So I've got some IPA sitting in the fridge waiting for just beckoning me.
Enjoy a cold brew, my friend.
Right on. Thanks again, everybody. Have a good week.
Cheers.
And,
Hello out there. Yes, hello out there, everyone. I'm Hal Schwartz.
And I'm Flynn McLean. Together we host None But the Brave, a podcast dedicated to the music and career of Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce and E Street Band are on tour right now for the first time in 6 years, and we're taking a detailed look at what's happening on stage in our bi-weekly episodes.
We've also been recently joined by some very exciting guests, including rock journalist Warren Zanes and Stephen Hayden, Backstreet's Magazine founder Charles Cross, and Barstool's Kirk Minahan.
If you're a diehard Springsteen fan, this is the show for you.
So please subscribe to None But the Brave on your favorite podcasting platform, and we hope to see you further on up the road.
Thank you so much. We'll be seeing you.